Welcome to Yeshiva Daf Shir sponsored Nishma Asai Makashom Nabas Yitzchok. We're holding Metzia Daf Kuf Yudalid. We are starting in the second line of Kuf Yudalid Mudalif. In the middle of the sugi over here, we have such a thing called Metzia in the Balchoiv. What's a Metzia in the Balchoiv? Metzia means that when you come and you extract, you take a collateral, take money from him, you make sure that he has enough for his own livelihood. And what's the source of Metzia in general? The source of Metzia is by Erchin, as Rashi brought in the previous Samud, that we have a din of Achir Merkecha, because the Torah says that by Erchin you don't take out the money completely from the person, you need to leave him his livelihood. Says the Gemara, Ibarilu, Maushi Sadu Balchoiv, do we do Sidu Balchoiv or not? Migomar Micha Micha Merchin Ole. Do we live in Merchin or not? In the previous Samud we saw a Mandarma that says you do. Well, I said, that can't be, that's what we saw in the previous Samud. Now the Gemara is saying, well, starting a new Bibaya. Do you live in Merchin or not? Tosh was the one to Shach Ravin B. Garto. Ravin said in a letter, I sent to all my Rabbein, they didn't tell me anything about it. This is the question. So when I asked about Baal Choiv, they didn't say anything. Right? They didn't answer anything. But there was a question that was asked and answered, and that was regarding Hegdish. Rashi says, what's the question? Someone asked, when a person who gives money for Hegdish, he owes money to Hegdish. So you say Siddur. Hegdish she'im machzirin, ein odin she'im misajin. Right? So, kavachayim v'balchoiv. If a balchoiv that you give it back, meaning when you take a collateral, you have to give it back to him to use it when he needs it. But you don't do any misajin. What does it mean? It says Rashi, you sell after 30 days. In other words, like we said, we shouldn't be on the previous daf. Hegdish she'im machzirin, you don't give it back, ein odin she'im misajin. So clearly, you see, they understood. You don't do Siddur. You learn Nedarim, like Erchin, Ma'erchin Mesajin, of Hegdish, Mesajin, Neders to give to Hegdish, you do a Siddur. V'hidach, Awul Nidon Mechvoida Hudas. There you learn Nidon Mechvoida. Ma'erchin Nidon Mechvoida, have Hegdish Nidon Mechvoida. What does Nidon Mechvoida? It means, when a person says he's giving the erech of his hand, so he has to give the erech of what the hand is worth. But if he said, I'm giving my heart or my brain, he has to give his whole erech. So also by Hegdish, when a person gives if it's a short boy, so you have to give the entire value. Right? No, he said make cooler. So that's what I mean nidum b'chvoid. Nidum, whatever is the importance of is kavod, which refers to the neshama. Whatever the neshama depends on. That's what you learn in Darim from Erech. So okay, so now why don't you say kavachayim? If you don't give back when you take it from him, you do a siddur. You do give it back at least the first 30 days. Ain't no din shebesajin should be besajin. Who v'lo b'achiv? It says machu by erchin him not b'achiv. And from the imachu, that's the source that achir merkecho that you do siddur. It needs to be poor from beginning to end. If he became rich in the middle, then you have to give the erchin based on his riches. Right. Says the Gemara. So now you should give it back. When you take it back, you should give it back to use it. You don't take into account his financial issue. Hegdish Mesadin and Dinshim Machzirim. Of course you Mesadin. Omakov v'shochad b'salmasoi u'virachicho. Yoso Hegdish she'ein tzoich brocha. So it says, you will lay down with his clothing and give you a bracha. So it means he'll give you a bracha. So Hegdish doesn't need a bracha. You don't need Hegdish bracha. Something more of a loy. Hegdish doesn't need a bracha. V'achtiv v'achal t'soratu v'achta shemarkecha. Shmuel does want the bracha. Interesting, having maskana. Big Lefesh Chaim, going bracha, what does bracha do? Yeah, because Baruch is mis'avid for us to give a bracha. So it means you have the tzedakah, and you need to have the milo tzedakah, and that's something the hekdesh does not need. Says the Gemara. So meaning when we talk about tzedakah, we talk about people that are associated with tzedakah. Mashiach and hekdesh. Says the Gemara. Ashkechei. Now Gemara brings this source. By the way, Tosis brings over here that when the Tam says the aim masaj, that's the whole a long Tosis over here. Goes into the next Talmud where he brings different rayas, discusses it, but he wants to say that if you don't do siddur, which means I don't take into account his financial condition, I extract from him the money. Says the Gemara. Now comes the story. So Rabbi Avuah meets Eliyahu Navi in Beis HaKvaros of Goy. Only Ma'ashi Saju B'Bal Chayv. You do see them. Only Gomer Micha Merchin. You live in Merchin. Kabeh Ktiv Yimachu Mekecho. Kabeh Ktiv V'Chia Mucho Chicho. So you have Micha by both. So therefore, you learn that yes, you do have to have, you do Misaju B'Bal Chayv. So today's over here, it says not necessarily we paskin like Eliyahu Navi. It's going to show from the Hemshech that you don't paskin over here this way. So he says, right, and also it could be Eliyahu Navi just told him indication. So the Chuyim Matchile, not necessarily we don't paskin that way, and we'll see in a second why. So continue on in the story. What he asked him, how do you know that a naked person should not do truma? Right? Taste points out, we have to do truma and do a bracha. When you do a bracha, how many love koyin? Aren't you a koyin? Eliyahu Navi, you're a koyin because Rashi says some say Pinchas is Eliyahu, Pinchas is a koyin. My time you carry my because what are you doing with first? Didn't you learn Taharis? The Tanya, Shimon Yochaimer, Kivreshot Kachavim Aimetam. Shimon Yochai says the cave of a goy does not cost him. Shema Vatem Tsoini Tsoin Marisi Adom Latim Atem Krim Adom. They have Kachavim Krim Adom. They don't have it. They don't have two Beno. So this is Toys brings the Rayo because we pass that Kachavim do costume. They don't costume like Yisrael, but they do costume. You're not supposed to be there.
It's not on the naga, not oil.
Not the oil, but they do Mago so you can't be there. So you can't touch, right? So he brings the raya. It says the Gemara, and he said, and he bring, okay, so he discusses it. There's a medrash that says that you don't know if he's Kohev Rekivo, why was he Kohev Rekivo? And then very interesting, is Eliyahu Navi a Kohen or not? Different Yersois, where did he come from? Is from Binyamin, or from Nebni Asherachel, what exactly he comes from? So that's the we'll talk about Rizal Hashem and the Shomach Shom on this daf, that he's talking about that the Rizal brings Eliyahu Navi has different neshamas. Every neshama has this different Eliyahu Navi, Eliyahu Tishbi, and they all combine together. Says the Gemara. So he told him, didn't you learn this brayso? So in Taharis that going don't cost tumo? Only by Metzia. I can hold on in the 4 sdarm of Moyed, Nashim, Nizikim, and Kochi of Rashis. Rashi says Moyed, Nashim, Kochi. Beshita Metzia, I don't know Taharis, as I told him. Only Vimai. Why don't you have time to learn Taharis? Only Tchikol says I'm poor. The David Vayel so you know he takes a Rabbi Baravua to Gan Eden. Go open your glimo, your clothing, and take from the leaves of Gan Eden. Sofa Shokal, he took out the leaves of Gan Eden. Kavanofak, show me the call my man Kochilami. Baravua. Your Ravu is saying, oh, who's eating his olam habo like Ravu is eating his olam habo? So, I'm not doing that. Nofat Shadino, so he threw away the leaves. Still his clothing came. Sochat Glima Reicho, he was able to squeeze out of his clothing the smell of Gan Eden. Zavne Betracer Alfe Dinari. He was able to sell it for 12,000 dinarim because the smell was so special. So he divided, he gave it to all his son-in-laws. Says the Gemara Torah Abanon, V'im yesh oni, im yesh oni uloi tishkav be'avoyto. Ha-shir shochiv. Now, don't lay down in his clothing. If he's a poor man. So if you're a rich person, you do lay down in his clothing, it's not yours. It's only a mashka. My call, I'm sure Jack call. Mishon you don't leave the avoid, but you give it to the owner, give it back to him. If he's rich, you give it to him. You can still give it by you. You're not allowed to take a mashkin. You have to give it back to him. You can't over all the different lavim. Says the Gemara, Michael. What are you saying? It doesn't make any sense to sentence. That's what he said. He's not allowed to take a mashkin. If he did take a mashkin, he took the mashkin, you should know that he's over. Rashi says, so he's over if he doesn't give it back. So he says the Gemara, that's how he said. I had to read it. He's not allowed to take a mashkin. If he did take a mashkin, he has to give it back. So this is what you said really before the previous daf. When he did the mashkoin, not at the time of the avo, after the avo. So if the time of the avo, if he gave him collateral, so that's the losh is correct. Rashi points out he didn't want to change because how did they learn then Mishnahs and Brises? They used to have quotes. So they say, "Oh, I learned this, I learned this." So to say completely mixed up the quote, we don't want to say. So that's what he says. Meaning, what does it mean? That he's over if he doesn't give it back, when he needs to give it back, so he's over, he's over. Says the more Tani, so the way he's dashing right now, the one's going to change right away, but it says until sunset, give it back to him. That's his pajamas. Hashem tashivlu sa'avoid kavod shemesh. Give back the avoid when it becomes night, as the sun comes down, as the sun said, zuksus yoim. Amalei, what does it mean? The pajama you give them in the day, and the regular clothing during the night. Amalei, the imam belayla the amali, the leil be imam alamali. What is it going to do with pajamas during the day? What is it doing with clothing during the night? Amalei esmer, she says, should I take this out? Is this wrong, right? So I should not say it. Amalei achiko. That's what you have to say. Ad boy shemesh teshivenu loy zeksus yoim shenitno lach boy balaylo. When it says ad boy shemesh teshivenu loy, until the ad boy shemesh you give it to him until the sun sets, until give it to him. That's sus yoim that you could take that not sus layla because the price is sus layla. Okay, we don't want to change it completely. It's sus yoim that you can take in the night. When the sun sets, give it back to him. That's what we meant yoim before, tell you could take it during the day. Okay, so he says, and that's what I mean. So you keep the clothing during the day if it's pajamas. You keep the clothing during the night if it's clothing that he doesn't use.
Nancy has to go back and forth.
Yeah. If he did a mashkoin and then he died, give it back to him and then he died. Take from the kids, but the kids who don't have the sit you give back the mashkoin. If you do a mashkoin, I give it back. So what do you mean? The Torah says give it back. If you take it back, says the one that put this one with Aleph, why take it back every day? Just leave it by it. So the Gemara right? I want to have the mashkoin by him. So I tell you, it's considered to be still in the hands of the lender. So even though he gives it back every day, it's still in the hands of the lender. So then the shvi is not mishemetis, and it's not metalton, so they didn't take it out because it's still in the hands of the lender. Taimo, the other mashkenei, because he took it back. Hello, other mashkenei, lo, you didn't take it back. So, in that, and the more understand, what does it mean? That the time that the loiva dies, it needs to be in his hands. So they say you don't take it back. But if you didn't, the only reason to take it back is in order to avoid this case. Mash, if you didn't take it back, or even you took it back every day, but that day you didn't take it back, you can't take it from the side. Anyway, you have to fix the lashon. So answer also this. Now, why you take it back every day? Why take it originally? Actually, That's what we said. That you do it. I don't want to shoot a shot, and it should be metal tzalbonov. Meaning, the first mashkin. Then you're right. You can leave it by him if you want to. But I'll tell you, you have the right. I want to pressure him to pay him back. So every day I'm going to come and drive him crazy. But the original thing that I took the mashkin, that itself makes it mine, and therefore for me, Rosh is not meshametes, and it's not metal talim et tzalbonov. Rashi says, mashkin ikani v'chimead le'yavi b'kodem gabei. Okay, let's go to the Mishnah. Says the Gemara, so we said if you did a mashkoin, then you give it back to him. When das gives it back, you certainly don't have, and you certainly can't keep it. So the Gemara, you can't go to his house to take a mashkoin. You can't go to his house. You can go to the arif. You go to the guarantor. Says the Gemara, if you have a pasuk, it says the pasuk that says the pasuk in Mishlei. So he says, it says the pasuk what?
Is this also once the loan is due, or even before?
I think once the loan is due, of course. So he's saying, it says the pasuk if you are a guarantor, your words caught you. Right? It says there, go and appease him. So it says the Gemara, that's the pasuk. It says, I read the first pasuk Gemara speaks about. So what does it mean? So that means that the Torah tells you that you have the arif, you take his clothing. That's the pasuk said before. Means you agree to do it. So you're stuck with your words. So years are you going to be saved. When you have the responsibility, make sure to come and appease the lender. If you have money, pay it. Right? Go and try. So the Rashi adds over here when it says and it says no kash to be ficho is he made a nice dvar because someone some pain. So then what does it say next? Look at Rashi. It says if you're get money. If you have to no kash to be nice dvar, as if the pasuk talking about two different cases. Case number one is arif. They have to pay money. If you're not arif, you just caused someone damage, say ask for forgiveness. That's what he says. See if you have to arif. Now, so that is what you see over here that an arif has to pay. Let's not sheni, meaning as Rashi says, kamoy dovar ach, another explanation. Leveis yet tanichas l'schar kotef, l'schar chomar, l'schar pundok, l'schar dukanos. Which means, Rashi says, you don't go to the loive, but you don't go as a lender. But you do go into his house to take the money that he owes you. Not as a lender borrow, but like other payments. Like you have a schar kotev with someone who slept on his back, so you have to pay him. Schar chamor, you took his donkey. You took a load for him on your donkey. Schar pudok, that he was in my thing. It's not a regular loan. Schar yuknois, right? He made some shapes in his house. Because whatever he made it a loan based in. So then you dash him masas mu'umah to tell you that any type of loan. In other words, when I have a sachar, it's not a loan. Sachar means obligation. Obligation you could take. I can't take a loan. A loan is the person lend money to somebody else. Sometimes you can make this into a loan. You go to base and say, okay, now you owe me this money. So from here it starts to being a loan. But at this first stage, it's some sachar, you could go into his house.
Somebody has to take a mashkin. There's an issue to go into the house and ask for the money back?
No, to take a mashkin, talk about. Take a mashkin for other things. The only you can't take a mashkin, it's only for a loan, not for something else. So basically, the more ended over here before the Mishnah, there's two ways to darshan. It says, don't go into the house of the loive. Don't go into the loive, you have an exception. What's the exception? So either by Oriv you could go in, or that you could go in for other things which are not necessarily a loan. That's what it is. Okay. See you all on Monday. See you will be hopefully Tuesday night.